When you start to live, think about this. Think about this, church. How can we be hopeless about what we see in terms of crime and drugs when we as a people have seen the power of grace? Now just listen to me. There was a time, now I'm just speaking about people of my hue. There was a time in this country where this was the most powerful country in the world, and it was turned on destroying us, enslaving, mistreating, denying our human rights, defining us as 3/5 of, this is just history. I'm not talking about where we are, I'm talking about where we were. Defining us as 3/5 of a person. Denying us any say. Hanging us from trees. Raping us, shooting us. But there was a core group, listen to me, in church, not at the Civic Center. There was a core group in church that first got on their knees, then got up off their knees with a commitment to elevate their people from the plight that they found themselves in. And they made that commitment in an environment where they had no power in the environment to lift themselves. They were not in government. They had no authority. There was no money. They didn't have jobs. They were being persecuted, but they got off of their knees. Come on, church. And just in little churches with wood floors and no air conditioning, hot and down in the deep south, far from the seat of government, in the backwoods, down dirt roads, they got up with a commitment in their heart to raise the level of their people. And great grace was bestowed on them in the midst of great trials and deep poverty. God bestowed grace on them. And that grace that God bestowed on them in dirt roads, in country churches, in backwoods, it was so strong that it liberated an entire race of people. Now you can't convince me that guns and crime and drugs are stronger than what we were going through 70 years ago. I think the reason we're struggling to overcome is because we've not yet really gotten down on our knees and made a commitment in our heart and then gotten up off our knees and let God's grace give us the power to make it happen. Talking about grace. If grace can break the chains of slavery and segregation, you don't think grace can break single parenthood? You don't think grace can break drug addiction? You don't think grace can break? I know that, listen, I don't want to hear any more stuff about, well, things are slanted against us. Doesn't matter. Talking about grace. The church let grace work. We don't have to worry about which way the seesaw is tilted. If the church let grace work, we don't have to worry about which cop is racist and which one is not. If the church let grace work, we don't have to worry about what teacher is teaching and what teacher is not. If the church let grace work, we don't have to worry about who's locked up and who's free. If the church let grace work. But grace doesn't work until you get committed. Grace doesn't work until you get serious. Listen, I hear you, but I got some deficits and I got some deficiencies and I don't really, listen, grace covers the deficiencies. If I let people define me by my deficiencies, I wouldn't be standing here. They said I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't bright enough, I didn't think the right way, couldn't read well enough, couldn't talk well enough, couldn't do anything well enough. But grace covers my deficiencies. Well, Pastor, you just have a way of relating. I have grace. People hear me because I have a heart for them. Not because I know the latest slang, the latest term, the latest way. I don't dress like the street, don't talk like the street, don't look like the street, never really been in the street. But I got a heart. And I've made a commitment. And I'm tired of what's happening. And it's personal to me. And I've gotten up off my knees. And I've got the grace of God. And I just need a congregation who'll go down first and then get up with some grace. When what's important to God becomes personal to you, there are no excuses, there are no reasons, and there is no failure. When it gets personal to you. When God's heart really gets in your heart. When you cry over somebody you don't know because they don't know Jesus. You start asking God for grace to help you. Don't tell me he won't give you what you need to get the job done. When we raise our level of commitment to others, let her be, we can bless others despite the challenges we face.